Mesechta Sanhedrin Daf Samach Gimel Amud Aleph. We're starting from Samach Beis. Amud Beis, the last word Gufa. Zog the mother Gufa Memfri Yelent. We learned earlier on. Amud Rabbi Yama, Ami. Rabbi Ami had said Zibach the Kita v'Nisach. If one shechted or one burnt fats or he did a libation towards Avodah Zarah b'Helam Echad with one unawareness, ein echai v'lechatas. He's only going to be chai one chatas. He's only going to be chai one carbon. Abai said, my time to Rabbi Yami. What's talking the reasoning of Rabbi Yami? So Gemara, because Amakra, he has an extra pasuk. It says loisa of them, which is extra, because the pasuk already spoke about not serving the. What do you mean? That is chai one, yes, but he says he holds like Rabbi Yami. Where did Rabbi Ami get it from? Because you remember, he said Havara has to be l'chalak yotzes, so the ishtachava had to be l'chalak yotzes. So he says no. Rabbi Ami says there's an extra yitur loisa avdeim. He learns it out from loisa avdeim, and it says that is a general ashara for all avodah zarah, but the Torah already said in many places that one shouldn't serve avodah zarah. So why does he have to say again loisa avdeim? So from this yitur hakasuv, the pasuk, the cloud for all avodas, that if he did it with one unawareness, wasam kulan, he did all of them, and he found out if he did all the three avodas. As Azevi ben Shemachas, no is behelam echad with one unawareness after he finished all the, and after the three avodas, he became aware that he did three avodas. Nevertheless, Aveda Achas, we consider it as one Aveda and is Chayiv only one Chatas. In fact, your Abaye is saying that's the reason of Rabbi Ami, that he's only Chayiv for one. Did then Abaye say that? Abaye said, Sholish Hishtachavois Ba'avedis Kechavim. We find the Torah says 3 times about not serving idols. And if you look in the Ha'ar 4, he brings down from Rashi, Lois Hishtachав Elohem is one. And then it says Ki lois hishtachave le'el acher is 2, and then it says a third time lois hishtachave le'lehem. There's really a fourth one by the Dibes Achrenes in Chumash Devarim V'Schanan. That's not in the Cheshbon because that's not a new Easter. That's Moshe chazering over what happened before. But we have 3 psukim about not serving idols. So what is the 3 psukim for? Achas l'kedaka. One is to tell us that you're not allowed to serve Avodah Zarah the normal way, whatever the normal way is. But achas l'kedaka. And one is, even though you're serving the Avodah Zarah, but not in the way it's normally served, but you're bowing to it, or you're shechting kabbanis to it, even though the derech over there is something else. The derech, let's say, is Waffensteiner, or das Markulis, or Peir, they defecated to it. Nevertheless, if he did Avodah L'Moshel Avishachava, Kitev, Menisach, he's still going to be Chayiv. Achas L'Chalik. And one is to tell you that if he did 3 Avodas to Avodah Zarah with one unawareness, he didn't find out till later, he's going to be Chayiv for each and every one. So Abai is a big faket, just the opposite from what he said before. Abai explained for Rabbi Ami, but Loisa Avdin is the extra passing. He's come to teach you only Chayiv for one. If he did 3 Avedas with one unawareness. And here he says Chayiv for everyone. So there, when Abaye said Loisa of them that you're only going to be Chayiv for one, if it's one Me'el is that's according to Rabbi Ami. But he himself, Rabbi Abaye Kritzich, he says you're going to be Chayiv for each and every one. Because that's what it says. It says Befesh in the Gemara. Oma Abaye, my time, the Rabbi Ami.
Why is he asking?
Like that. I'm telling you because people people didn't know. So he says, I'll tell you what the reason of Rabbi Ami was. So Abaye said, this is just repeating what we just said in Abaye Shita. 3 times it says in the Torah about not serving idols. Lama, why do we need to 3 psukim? Achas l'kedaka. One is to tell you you're not allowed to serve the idols in the normal way. Whichever way it's served, you shouldn't do that. Achas l'kedaka. serve it, even though it's not the way of serving the Avodah Zarah. But if you did some Avodah towards that Avodah, you're still going to be chayiv. That if you did 3 Avodas and then you found out after you did all the 3, I did 3 Avodas, you're going to be chayiv for each one. But you wanted the one pasuk for Lekedarka, I don't need that pasuk. How do the goyim normally serve the Avodah Zarah? Nafka, that's what we learn out Kedarka. So you want to be right. Ella. Achas Kedarka v'shaloi Kedarka. Meaning, he served it in a derech kavadik way. He served it by zvicha or ishtachava, but it was shaloi Kedarka, but that wasn't the Avodah of the Avodah Zarah. The Avodah Zarah was after nisuch, libation. And anstatt nisuch, he did zvicha. And one is that their derech of Avodah is nicht derech kavod, is derech bezayin, waffensteine to throw stones on it, that like the getchke called makulis, or balpeir to defecate at it, to make number 2. Abziehen the Heisner machen an number 2. Yeah, as ich gesagt, Joel gemacht noisy. Over here he was. That's what they did. Shaloi Kedarka Klal. So, and he went and he served it in a derech kavadik way. He bowed to it, or he
didn't really bow, or he didn't
no, he bowed to it, or he shechted towards it. But the derech over there was to throw stones on it. And one was to tell you that if he did it behelam echad, then he's going to be chai for each and every one. So we learned in the Mishnah, Mekable alav be'elaha, somebody who accepts an idol as his god, he says to the Getchke, Eliata, you are my God. Oh, so this is Amarav Nachman, Amarav, Kivin Shah, Amala Eliata, Chayiv, even though he didn't do an action. He just said words. Yeah, and even though he only said words, he didn't do an action. He didn't do Zvicha, he didn't do Avodah, Nisuch, he didn't do any of this. So, what is Rav Nachman talking about that he's Chayiv? For saying, accepting this Getchke, saying Eliata, he's saying Chayiv Misa. If it's Mishoigig, or here it's talking about, so that's what the Gemara is going to ask. What's the Chayiv going on? Lamai. What did Rav Nachman say is Chayiv? If he's talking about for Misa, so he's amazed, meaning Masnisnahi. It's our Mishnah. What is he adding to? That's what the Mishnah says he's Chayiv Misa. Ella what? Linyan Karban. He's coming to tell us a Chiddush. Something other than what our Mishnah said. That if he did a b'shoigeg, he's going to be a chayva carbon. Zok Yimara, you're saying Rav said his chiddush in addition to the Mishnah that you're chayva carbon. Va'afilu Rabbanan, he was saying it like a universal psak that even according to Rabbanan, who said a megad, if somebody who curses Hashem's name, he's not chayva chatas because it's a lav shein by ma'isa if he did a b'shoigeg. Vatanya, he's only chayv on something that there's an action going. Zibuach, vikitu, like he shechts, or he burns fats, v'nisuch, or he does a libation, or he's tachava, or he bows. Raman Eshlakish, and Eshlakish says, Man Tana, who's the Tana that says, he's tachava, between the avodas that you're chayv achatas, Rabbi Akiva, he don't the lay being the ma'isa, that you don't need ma'isa. Miklal, the Rabbanon Sabri beina Maisa, but from here you can imply the Rabbanon say you do need Maisa. So how could the Rav say a psak that if he said Eliata b'shoigeg he's going to be chayv chatas even according to Rabbanon? How could he say that? If the Rabbanon say only if it's yesh by Maisa, you want to kikama Rav nami le'abi akiba kama. When did the Rav say his chiddush in addition to the Mishnah? He says that one who does a b'mezid chayv misa, that if he does a b'shoigeg, saying Eliata by mistake, he's going to be chayv achatis. It was only said according to Rabbi Akiva. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Akiva, pshita. If it's going according to Rabbi Akiva, it's pshita because he says Allah shem by ma'aseh chayv chatas. Hainu megadav. This is mamish the same thing as somebody saying with his mouth, cursing Hashem b'shoigeg that is chayv achatas. After the Gemara the time I would have thought, Ad kan loich b'chayv Rabbi Akiva come to megadav the chesed beikaris. I would have said, you know what? When did Rabbi Akiva say Allah shem by ma'aseh chayv malchus? When only way the Torah says explicitly that b'mezid chayv kodes. So on something that b'mezid one is chayiv kares, then b'shegin is chayiv achatas. Aval hacha, but again to the case of if the guy says Eliata, the like sibei, we don't find in the Torah talking about chayiv kares b'mezid for somebody saying Eliata. So I would say, hey, there's no pasuk, so maybe he's not chayiv achatas. Kamash malan. Therefore came Rav and told us the itkush. We have a hekish that he's chayiv kares by Eliata. It says the chsiv vayishtachavu loy le'elazav vayizbechu loy vayoimru. So you first have vayishtachavu loy that and it says vayoimru to teach us just like by one who's vayishtachavu and vayizbechu loy. One is chayiv kares b'mezid. Says vayoimru that somebody who says to Avodah Zarah Eliata b'mezid he's going to be chayiv kares also. Because you have a hekish to zvicha. So once you know b'mezid, he's chayiv kares. It's like it says it's a hekish. So it's just like Megadif. It says kares is chayiv b'mezid. So b'shegin you're going to be chayiv achatas, just like by Megadif. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said, if not for the word, the vav in halucha, it says that the Yidden said. I'm sorry, the Yidden said, these are the gods of Yidden, that brought us out, that we brought out from the land of Mitzrayim. The Yidden would have been chayiv to be destroyed. If the vav wouldn't be there, that means the Getchke took them out only. But now they said halucha, they included Hashem between the gods that took them out of Mitzrayim. You understand? If it would have been with a yachid, without the vav, it would have meant only the Getchke took them out of Mitzrayim. But since they said haluch b'lashon rabim, they're not chayiv because they weren't chayiv in HaKadosh Baruch Hu completely. They said they were shot if the Eivishter with the other Getchkes. So the Gemara Ketanoi, that's hamachlekes of Tanoi. Achenim ha'imam ilimolei vav shebehalucha nischayiv v'rishem shel yisrael kloya. This is what the Achenim said. That if because there was a vav and there were meshativ Hashem with the other gods, so therefore they're not chayiv to be destroyed because they believe in that it's not kfira legamri. They still believe in God. Amalei Rav Shimon ben Yochai aloi kol meshativ shen shamayim v'davacha nekem ha'elam shenam ar yacharam built in Hashem levadei. But Rav Shimon ben Yochai says Yag is completely. He says you cannot be meshativ Hashem with other getchkes. And somebody who's meshativ Hashem with other gestures, he's chayiv to be destroyed. Says Yachim built Hashem levadei. So what is the halucha with the vav coming to teach us? She'ivu elahus rabbi, meaning they believed completely Hashem is the einzige God, but they say that the Eivishter delegated his strength to the moon, to the stars. So we got it. The Eivishter says we have to give them cover. So they gave cover to the ministers. Just like Hashem, they were meshativ the ministers with Hashem. That was taka chutzpah, but b'poel mamish they weren't kaifer beika. They knew the Eivishter is the ultimate koyach, but Hashem delegated strength to the others. So in the Mishnah we learn somebody who hugs the idol, or he kisses it, or he sweeps in front of it, or he spritzes water to keep the dust down. These are all avidas for the Avodah Zarah. Even though it's not the derech to serve the Avodah Zarah that way, he's over. But somebody who makes a neder in the name of the Getchke, or somebody makes a shvua, then he's over below saseh. Also, Kiyasa Avdimi, when Avdimi came, Amar Rabbi Elazar, he said the name of Rabbi Elazar, Al Kulam, on all the ones that we enumerate in the Mishnah, which is hugging, kissing, sweeping, and spritzing water, like he gets malchus. Chutz mahanoida b'shmei v'hamakayim b'shmei. Somebody who makes a neder in the name of Hashem, or somebody who swears in the name of Hashem. In the name of Getchke. Shvert by Chaim. I don't want to say the Getchke name, but he swears by the Getchke. Yeah, the Yoshkele. Yeah, the loy lucky. Why, when he swears by the name of the God, the Getchke, or he says a neder or a shvur in the name of the Getchke, he doesn't get malchus. And the Gemara Mishum the Havalei lav shein mei ma'aser, because it's a lav shein mei ma'aser. And alav shein ma'isa ain't loikin alav. You don't get malchus. That's why they didn't get malchus for the last two.
So what does it get? Nothing?
Nothing. So the one that we say lav the Gemara is saying hani mili. He's asking the lav there is a lav shebichlalasu, and it's a general lav, but ain't loikin alav shebichlalas. And you don't get malchus on a lav shebichlalas. When it says a general lav, which includes many things, not just one din, many dinim, so then you don't get malchus. If you're learning out the lav from a lav that many yisurim are learned out from that same lav, from that same pasuk, it's called a klolis de kalav, and a lav shebichlalas. If you learned it out from the lav shebichlalas, you don't get malchus. Where do we see that? The Tanya that we learned in Abraisa. From where do we know that somebody who eats from behema before the nefesh left the behema? It's like Eva Menachai, but you're not allowed to. Eva Menachai means you mamish take off a limb. Here he ate from a behema, but the neshama didn't leave the behema yet. How do you know you're able to sasa? Al adam. Meaning you shouldn't eat the bas from the behema while the blood is still, the nefesh is still in the behema. Blood means nefesh, because like it says in the pasuk, dam hu nefesh. But I remember hadam hu nefesh. That's the pasuk. Another pasuk, another din we learn out. Leiseichel al adam, leiseichel al abasa, v'hadayin dam b'mizak. We learn out that you're not allowed to eat the blood or the meat. From Leiseichel al adam we learn you're not allowed to eat the meat while the blood is still in the keli that the kohen took it from the shechita to spray on the mizbeach. If there's still blood left over, he cannot eat from the meat yet. So that's another din that we learned out from Leiseichel al adam. Another din. How do we know that we don't do a sudas havrah for avelim al harugi bezdin? Some bezdin killed somebody. Usually when somebody dies, so they have a sudas havrah. What's a sudas havrah? Other people make the meal for you when you come home. For sudas havrah. This sudas havrah is not done for somebody who bezdin killed. Why? It's really for a kapara for him, because this is a covet for him. We want dafke. He shouldn't get that covet because he should get the full kapara. Where do we learn it out? From Leiseichel al adam. Don't eat, meaning on the person who was punished with the punishment of bezdin. Don't give him that covet of sudas havrah. Make a sudas havrah for the person who just died, in order that he should get the full kapara. He shouldn't get any covet. Yeah. That's another din. That's a third din for the Leiseichel al adam. Rabbi Akiva says, "Menayin l'Sanhedrin shehagus hadam she'ein teim and klum kol esayim." How do we know the Sanhedrin 23 and up till 71? If they paskin on somebody that's chayv misa, how do we know that Sanhedrin is not allowed to eat anything?
There was a mistake, is this?
No mistake. How do we know if they killed somebody through their psak, they're not allowed to eat anything? It says b'feish they're not allowed to eat. Because while you're killing somebody, you can't eat a sandwich. Only the Nazis did that. They were eating sandwiches and killing the Yidden. But I'm saying, well, us, the Yidden, we don't, the Sanhedrin doesn't eat while they're killing somebody. That's a fourth thing. Where do we learn out the warning for the punishment of a Ben Seder Meir? A Ben Seder Meir is somebody who zayft and he frest, and so a Zayl V'Seiva is somebody who drinks, and the frest is if you keep on giving him, if he keeps on stealing money, he's going to end up killing somebody. So we kill him first. Where do we learn out? Al Kulam, one who's on all these above mentioned Isurim, ain't that like he doesn't get Malchus mitzad loiseichla, because loiseichla al adam, because they learned it out from a lav klolis. So you see, a lav shebechlolis, you don't get Malchus. Ben Seder Meir, we know there's a gather for Malchus. That's only after the second time. The first time there's no. The first time he doesn't get anything. So you see, a lav shebechlolis, you don't get Malchus. So the Gemara Eliki also Rav and Amar Rabbi Laza. So the Gemara, it's a good kasha. So the Gemara says a different shot. When Ravin came and he said the name of Rabbi Laza Al Kulon Eina Loika Chutz Min Hanei Mishmei V'Hamakayim Mishmei. He says on all of them you don't get malchus except for somebody who makes a neder or makes a shvur in the name of the getchke. In fact, you better now ahanach delay lucky. Why? By all these, they don't get malchus because they have a lay lav shebechlolis. Because it's a lav shebechlolis. In fact, you better haninami, but somebody who's neder makes a neder or shvur b'shem avodah zara lav shem by ma'asaninu is it's a lav shem by ma'asa. Zok Gemara, Samson the Gemara, who the Hira of Rabbi Lazar was learned. Rabbi Yehuda the Amal lav shem by ma'asa like Nalam. The Hira of Rabbi Yehuda was that the whole meaning that on a shvua, which is a lav shem by ma'asa. Which were they? Which one was Rabbi Yehuda? I'm just looking a second.
No, he's saying now it's like Rabbi Yehuda.
Right. This, I'm sorry, the Hira of Rabbi Lezer. The Hira of Rabbi Lezer that said that all the Avedis of Kavod that are enumerated in the Mishnah, like hugging, kissing, sweeping, and spraying water, it doesn't get Malchus, except for Neidah B'Shmei V'Hamakayim Mishmei does get Malchus, right? You understand? So the Gemara, why? Why all the enumerated ones you said doesn't get Malchus? You said Salav Shebechlolis. Haninami shouldn't get Malchus because it's a lav shem ma'isa. When he makes a neder shvur b'shem avodah zara, is a lav shem ma'isa. It also shouldn't get Malchus for a different reason because it's a lav shem ma'isa. Says you want to know a lav shem ma'isa. He would be chai Malchus. Why? Ahu kidas Rabbi Yehuda. He holds like Rabbi Lazar holds like Rabbi Yehuda that says lav shem ma'isa. Like he definitely gets Malchus, and that's why he was mechalik by Noida or the Ashvua b'Shem Avodah Zara. He says there he'll get Malchus, even though it's a lav shem ma'isa, because he holds like Rabbi Yehuda. The Tanya that we learned in Number Isa. It says in the Torah the meat of the Pesach. It says don't leave any of the meat of the Pesach till the morning. It says if somebody leaves over of the meat, you have to burn it. This is a lav shenitik lasei. Ba'akosiv litin mitzvah asei. Achal mitzvah lois asei. First it says lois asei. Lois asei sidu b'menu ad beika. And then comes the asei that ba'eish to seifel. If you do loy malach to tell you shein like malach that in such a lav shein ma'isa a lav shenitik lasei you don't get malchus. Div Rabbi Yehuda because it's a lav that could be corrected through asei. It says that to seifel. Yeah. He says that's not the main reason that he doesn't get a malchus. He says because it's a lav shein by maisa. That's why he doesn't get malchus. Since a lav shein by maisa, one doesn't get malchus. So he says it's not because it's a lav that's shenitik lasei. That's why you don't get malchus like Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Miklal Rabbi Yehuda Sava. If it would have been just a lav mitzad lav shein by maisa. Like an Allah. Rabbi Yehuda would say he does get Malchus. The only reason why here, when he left over from the Korban Pesach, he's not getting Malchus, according to Rabbi Yehuda, because it's a lav that's shanitik lasei. It's a lav that is corrected by a say. And that's that. Because of that, Rabbi Yehuda say, because by Eish to Sefer, you're correcting it. So by a lav shenitik lasei, such a lav you don't get Malchus if you corrected it by Eish to Sefer.
No, because Rabbi Yankov says it's a lav shein by ma'isa.
Oh,
Rabbi Yehuda has to be saying something.
no, Rabbi Yehuda said already. It's a lav shenitik lasei. That's why he's not. Why doesn't he want to say like Rabbi Yaakov a lav shein by ma'isa? Because obviously Rabbi Yehuda holds a lav shein by ma'isa. You don't get Malchus. What?
He said the cloud Rabbi Yehuda something like an Allah.
Right, because he didn't use Rabbi Yaakov's answer. He said the reason why you're not getting Malchus by the Noisar because it's a lav shenitik lasei. Rabbi Yaakov said it's because of lav shein by ma'isa. Everybody could have used that one. Why did Rabbi Yehuda not use the answer lav shein by ma'isa? It's a very simple answer. It's clear. Obviously, Rabbi Yehuda says that by lav shein by ma'isa you get Malchus. So somebody who makes a neder in the name of Avodah Zarah, v'hamakayim b'shmai, somebody makes a shvua in the name of Avodah Zarah, harei zeh v'lo yisasa. There's a hizay v'ana lo yisasa. Anoida b'shmai, v'hamakayim b'shmai menolam. In fact, from where do we know the lo yisasa? And at the time we learned in the Brayse, it says in the pasuk, v'shem elikim lo yisaskiru. It says the name of Hashem should not be mentioned. I mean, Shem Getchkes, Elikim Achedim. I'm sorry, Elikim Achedim, the idols, the names of idols shouldn't be mentioned. Meaning, Melamed Shelo Yodam Adam Lechaveirei, Shmoel Li B'tzad Avid Zecham Plainis. Wait for me by the side, Hamtenli. Hamtenli means wait. Wait for me by the side of this Avid Zecham. And he says the name of the Avid Zecham. That you're not allowed, because that's part of V'shem Elikim Achedim Lo Yisaskiru. Also, Lo Yisham Al Picha. No, sorry. Lo Yisham Al Picha teaches us Shelo Yidoir B'Shmoi V'Lo Yikayim B'Shmoi. That Lo Yisham Al Picha teaches us one shouldn't make a neder in the name of Avodah Zarah, nor should he make a shvur in the name of Avodah Zarah. V'lo yigroim la'achedim sheyidu b'shmai v'yikayim b'shmai. Nor should he cause goyim to make a neder in the name of Avodah Zarah or a shvur in the name of Avodah Zarah. Dava acher, another pshat in Lo Yisham Al Picha, because we said Lo Yisham Al Picha teaches us you shouldn't make a neder or shvur in the name of idols, in the name of Avodah Zarah, is azhara lemesis u'lemadiach. It's a warning. The Torah is warning not to encourage people to serve Avodah Zarah. Basis is for I think for Rabban, and a Madich is for Yachid. In fact, you want a Maces, but Hedixibili. A Maces, it says Befenish das Hora. Not you don't need here. It says V'chol Yisol Yishmu V'Yidon. And it says V'lo Yisif Lases Kadava Hara Azabik Kebecha. So that pasuk is the pashas of Maces, and that's how the pasuk ends off. In the previous pasuk, it says Bezdin kills him beskila. So this is a Maces. In this pasuk, he continues V'chol Yisol Yishmu V'Yidon, and the pasuk ends off Lo Yosif Lases Kadava Hara Azeh. So you shouldn't continue to do such a avera of Maces. So we know Maces from this pasuk. Only V'lo Yishama is going as a warning for a Madiach. We learned in the Brayse we said that one shouldn't cause Goyim to make a neder or a shvur in the name of Avodah Zarah. Messiah le'avodah Shmuel. This Brayse is a raya to the words of the father of Shmuel. For the father of Shmuel had said, it's forbidden to do a business, a partnership with a guy. Shemi is chayiv leishvur. Maybe the partner, the guy, will have to make a shvur, and then who's he swear by? By his getchke. And he's going to end up swearing by his Avodah Zarah. And the Torah said it shouldn't be made mention of the Avodah Zarah. And here you're causing him to swear by his Avodah Zarah. When Ula came to Babel, he stayed overnight Kal Nevei. He stayed in the city Kal Nevei, which is a name of Avodah Zarah. Rava said to Ula, where did you stay overnight? Amalei Be'er Kal Nevei. He said, what are you saying that word? Rava said to him, how could you say Kal Nevei? It's the name of Avodah Zarah. Amalei, what? He didn't ask, but he should have said, I can't tell you the name. It's the name of Avodah Zarah. Amalei, so Ula answered, Hachi Am Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said, Kol Avitzich Echad Maksuve B'Torah Mutar L'Askishma. This is any Avodah Zarah that its name is mentioned in the Torah, you can say it. So he says this one is the one that's mentioned in the Torah. That's why I was allowed to say it. In fact, where is Kal Nevei written in the Torah? So in Yeshaya it says Kara Baal Koires Nevei. It says it crouched and then get mashpitz from the Acharayim. Nevoi on this getchka called Nevoi. Kal Nevoi is really Nevoi, is really the name of the getchka called Nevoi. So like Siva Loi, you're saying on an idol that's not written in the Torah, you're not allowed to make mention of it. Masav Rav Nishashe is Takasha. Ra Achaz, a person saw Zavos from himself, Meruba Kishalahish, that it was continuing so much Zavos coming out of his body like the shear of 3 Zavos came out of him. Shehi Kimegadian Lashila, and it took the time, the same that it was coming out so long that it took the same time that it takes for a person to walk from Megadian to Shiloi. Shehain, that's the Meshach of Zman. When he says like three Zavos, he means that between each Zavos there was a tefillah and drying up, and then he was tevelim himself again and dried up. Including that's how much was leaking by him. Shtei tefillas, there was 2 tefillas in between, counting the time that it would take between each Zavos to make a tefillah. Ushnei si pugim, and 2 drying ups. So that's all time. If he had that span of time that it was coming out of him like 3 Zavos, then he's a full Azav. That he has this full din of Azav that is metamed like a avatuma. So now, look what he mentions over there. He mentions like the distance going migadyon l'shiloi. Gadyon is the name of an idol. So how could he say the word Gadyon? How could the Mishashi say such a word as a shir? Gadyon. God, nami michtaksiv. God is also written in the Torah. The Chsiv, ha'oichel ha'gad shulchan, that they prepared for God the table. Amar Rav Nachman, kol litzanusa asira. Any mockery, making jokes is also. Chutz militzanos la'avidz gecham d'sharya. Except for making litzanos la'avidz gecham d'sharya, that's mutter. Where do we see that? The Chsiv, it says when they get to the getchkes of Nevai, Baal Nevai, Kora Baal Koires Nevai. It says he crouched and he had to get my spritz from the back on that to the Nevai. So that's he was making fun of them. Karsu Charu Yachtav Lo Yachlu Malay Masa. He says that the stomach crouched and sprayed because he couldn't hold in the masa. The number 2, so he had to unload a loose stomach. Yeah, so he called that getchka. So that's how he called it. That's what he called it. It's a getchka that cannot hold in for people who cannot hold in the inside. For people who have diarrhea, that's what the getchka is for. Uksiv, and it says about the future tragedies that will come for the Egel Azov, that was in the base oven, that will be taken by Sanhedrin, the king of Ashur. Dibru le'eglois base oven. It says that Yagudu Shchan Shemram, that Melech Ashur came and he took away the Agolis from, I think it was Yeram ben Avat, who had these getchkas that they served, and they carried it away. Ki oval olav amay, the egel, the nation mourned over it because they believed in these getchkas. Uchemarav, and they were carrying it alav yagilu al kveidei ki galam imenu. What's the reason that they were bitzar? Because it was taken into captivity. This getchka. Al tiku kveidei ela kveidei. Don't read it kveidei, but read it kveidei. Kveidei meaning it was heavy. So they call but he calls it that these getchkas having got graba achrayim and was filled. They made fun of it because they made fun of the getchka that it was achrayim that they couldn't hold in the masa. So that's how they. No, it was a form of animal. They weren't balachayim. He says, even though they weren't balachayim and they didn't really have the number 2, nevertheless, the pasuk chose to use on Lashon from degrading this getchke. That's what he says.
Why did he come to take away the Geshkes, this guy?
Melech Ashur took everything. He captured the land. He took away everything, their gods, everything. From the Yidden, from Yerabim ben Nevat. Yeah, he was a Rasha because at the end he made everyone serve to these getchkes because he didn't want they should go up to Yerushalayim. Because the Melucha was split. There was Yehuda, and Shevet Yehuda, and I think it was Binyamin, one. They were in Yerushalayim, and the rest was with Yerabim ben Nevat. But Yerabim ben Nevat was afraid if anybody will go up to Yerushalayim, they will stay there. So that's why he put Shomrim, he didn't let, and he had these getchkes, you got to serve these getchkes, whatever. So your mother, my Zeiche, what is this that it says in the Pasuk? Now they will increase in sinning in Avodah Zarah more than the earlier generations. What's the more than the earlier generations? So they made these idols from silver, like this form of their idols. They made little idols. My kisvun atzabim. What does it mean? They kisvunam atzabim, like the looks of their idols. Each person made a little statue for themselves, a form of their getchke. And they would place it in their pockets. And whenever they would remind themselves, about this getchke, they reach into their pocket and give it a kush, a hug. Like I'm Chalil, in fact, the Gemara, my Zeivche Adma Golem Yishakum. What does it mean? People are shachted, and the Golem kissed them. What does that mean? Rabbi Yitzchak, the very Rabbi Yami. Rabbi Yitzchak from the base Medrash Rabbi Yami said, there were those that served the Avodah Zarah, but they needed to make a lot of money. So they came up with a scheme. So they would follow the rich people, and what they did is they made like a little form, a getchke of these a statue of these people, these rich people, mar even as hagolim, and they would make the calves very, very hungry, and by the trough, they would want to come, the place where they would come to eat, they would see always the statue of these gvirim.
Yeah.
Okay, Rabbi Tzadok was saying at the side of the troughs, they would see these little statues of the gvirim. Might see noisam. They would take out these calves that while they were hungry, lachutz to the outside. When the Gevirim came, and Kivin Shiro Waisam, once the Agolim saw these Gevirim, they understood every time the trough is the place where you get food. So they saw the statues of the Gevirim, so they ran to the Gevirim. These are the people that are going to give us food. And they would touch them and move them like kiss them. So the Mishar say from the Avodah Zarah says, "Wow, the Getchke wants you. So come and shacht yourselves for him." They wanted his money. Once they geschachten, hatten schon Geld jetzt weiter. They took his money. So that's what they did. These tricks. So if that's the case, that's the pshat, and you're learning pshat. That was the story. It doesn't make sense. It should say Agolim Yishakun. The Agolim first kissed them, and then the Mishas say, "Look, they're kissing. They want you." Then it should say Yishach the people, not the reverse. Yishach the people. Why should you Yishach the people? First, the Agolim have to show the Getchkes have to show they want them. Yishakun, they cushion sich with the Gevirim. They're kissing the Gevirim. Now they want the Gevirim to kill themselves for them. But here it says the reverse. So he says, you're right. Whoever shechs his son for idols, so they would say to him, you sacrifice such a big matana. You gave your children. Come and kiss. Come close to the Getchke and kiss him. Rav Yehuda gehaget seine Kinder. Rav Yehuda said the name of Rav. Anshe Babel also sukkis benois. The Anshe Babel made sukkis benois. Mind you, what is that? What kind of Avodah Zarah is it? So they made a form of a tanagoylis, of a female chicken. Anshe kus Also it's nergal. My new, what's nergal? Tana girl. A zacha, a chicken which is a zacha. A rooster. Manche chamas, also sashima. Manche chamas made the getchke called hashima. My new, what's hashima? Barcha karcha. It's the form of a goat, which is, because it's bald, legabe the shepselach was a sheep have more hair. Azim asu nivchas. What's nivchas? Nivchas vestatek. Mind you, what is that? What kind of an idol is it? Kelev. They made a form of a kelev, a chamer, and a donkey. Vasfar vim, serve him as b'neihem, v'ez b'noisem ba'ish. They would burn their sons and daughters in a fire. Va'adam melech, va'anam melech, elahei svar voyim. Adam melech, anam melech were the gods of svar voyim. Mind you, what is that? A pered, a mule, v'asus, and a horse. Adam melech, the adalei lamari betina. A mule takes off the load and carries the load for the balabash, for its master. Va'anam melech, a horse goes out to Mechama for the master. Chizkiyo, the father of Yehuda, king of Yehuda, his father wanted to shacht his son, bring his son into a fire. Only the mother smeared it with the oil of a salamander which came out of a fire. It was a special creature that if you use the oil and smell yourself on it, you don't get burned. The Yidden knew that Avodah Zarah is zero. The only reason why they accepted Avodah Zarah, they didn't mean it, because they wanted to do aroyes. So they wanted to throw off the yoch from the Eibishten, because everybody would say, "What are you doing?" It's Sfarad Torah. When they serve idols, the whole yach is off. Yeah, Masiv Rav Mishasha. Kisgay b'neyem, Kain Haisala Zechizmes b'Chaisam. Rav Lazar, Kaladim Sheish like Agun al b'nei. He says that the pasuk is when they remembered the Zvachim, they would have a yearn for it, like a person who has a yearn for his son. But this so is Akasha. You said they didn't have a love really for Avodah Zarah. Here you see the head Gagoyim. So it's that's only Bas Davikubei. That's only after they got connected with Avodah Zarah. Then they created in them such a love, so they couldn't let go. Or you fast one. Toshma. It says they'll die over the dead Getchkes. Eliyahu HaTzadik was looking for those that were in hunger in Yerushalayim. He found a child whose mom is almost dying from hunger. He was in the garbage can. Eliyahu asked him, from which family are you? I'm from that mishpacha. There's nobody left in the family? Amalei, love, no, nobody. Chutz mimani except for me. Amalei, Eliyahu said to him, if I teach you something that you could survive through it, will you learn? Amalei, he said yes. Amalei, Eliyahu said, say every day Shema Yisrael and you'll be saved. Amalei. So the child says, hush, don't say that. You're not allowed to say that. His father and mother never taught him about the Shem Hashem. Immediately he took out his little getchkele from his pocket. He hugged and kissed it till his stomach platzt. His getchke fell to the ground, and the baby, and this child fell on the getchke. I'll put your dead bodies over the dead getchkes.